The morning sun filters through the curtains, casting a warm glow over our bedroom. I lie in bed, watching Rachel as she moves around the room, her silk robe clinging to her curves. She looks stunning, even in this simple moment. I can't help but smile as she catches me staring. "What?" she asks, a playful smirk on her lips. "Just admiring my beautiful wife," I reply, pulling her down for a kiss. She laughs, but there's something in her eyes, a flicker of distance that I've noticed more often lately. I brush it off, blaming the stress from her job. We've both been busy, and I haven't been as attentive as I should be. Today, though, feels like a fresh start. I get up and head to the kitchen to make coffee. The scent of freshly brewed beans fills the air as I pour 2 cups, adding just the right amount of cream and sugar for Rachel. It's these little routines that make our life together feel so solid, so real. As I hand Rachel her cup, she leans in, pressing her body against mine. Her touch sends a familiar spark through me. "Thanks, Mike," she says softly, her lips brushing against my ear. For a moment, everything feels perfect again, but that flicker in her eyes nags at me, even as I try to ignore it. I love Rachel more than anything, and I've always trusted her completely. We've built a life together, one that I'm proud of. I'm a successful architect, and she's a rising star in her company. We have close friends, and her brother Victor is practically family to me. Still, I can't shake the feeling that something is off. I've caught her texting late at night, her phone angled away from me. When I ask about it, she says it's work, and I believe her, but doubts linger. Maybe I'm just paranoid. Maybe I'm imagining things. Tonight, though, my suspicions grow stronger. Rachel falls asleep next to me, her breathing steady and calm. I lie awake, my mind racing. Finally, I can't resist any longer. I reach over and pick up her phone from the nightstand. I know it's wrong, but I need to put my mind at ease. I swipe through her messages and my heart stops. There, in the middle of a thread with an unsaved number, is a text that makes my blood run cold. "Can't wait to see you again. Last night was incredible." My hands tremble as I stare at the screen. This can't be real. I feel sick, my stomach twisting in knots. Who the hell is this? My mind races, trying to make sense of it. Could it be a mistake? A joke? But deep down, I know the truth. Everything in my life seems ordinary, but this one message has shattered it all. I glance at Rachel, sleeping peacefully beside me, and my heart races. I've been a fool. There's something much darker lurking beneath the surface, something that's about to destroy everything I thought I knew. I wake up the next morning with the cold reality of the text gnawing at me. Rachel is already up, moving about the house as if nothing has happened. The memory of that message flashes in my mind. I decide to confront her, needing to hear an explanation, hoping there's some mistake. "Rachel," I start, trying to keep my voice steady, "I saw something on your phone last night." She looks up from the kitchen counter, her expression shifting ever so slightly. "What do you mean?" "There was a message from someone. It didn't look like work," I say, my heart pounding. "Can you explain it?" Her face hardens, but she quickly masks it with a look of surprise. "Mike, are you seriously checking my phone? I thought we trusted each other." Her words hit me like a slap. She's turning this on me, making me the bad guy. "I wasn't checking your phone," I lie. "It was just there, and I saw it." "Who is he, Rachel?" Her eyes flash with anger. "You're being ridiculous. It's just a friend from work. We were joking around, that's all. I can't believe you'd think anything else." I want to believe her. I really do. But the doubt is there, festering. It didn't sound like a joke. She slams the coffee mug on the counter, spilling some over the edge. "Maybe if you weren't so busy with work all the time, you'd understand that people can have friends of the opposite sex without it being something more." My mind races, trying to keep up with the conversation. She's good, flipping this around so I'm the one who feels guilty, but I can't let this go. "I'm sorry if I've been distant, but you can't blame me for being concerned when I see something like that." Rachel sighs, softening her tone, stepping closer to me. "Mike, I love you. I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. Can we please just forget about this?" She reaches out, placing a hand on my chest, her touch warm and familiar. For a moment, I feel the urge to let it go, to just believe her and move on. But something in her eyes holds me back. I nod, but inside the doubt is growing. The day drags on with that tension lingering between us. I try to focus on work, but I can't shake the feeling that something is terribly wrong. That night, I tell myself I need to know the truth. I start looking into Rachel's life more closely, something I've never done before. I check her social media, scroll through her old messages when she's not around, and try to piece together what's happening. It doesn't take long to find what I'm looking for. A series of texts between Rachel and her boss, David, that are far too intimate to be about work. My blood boils as I read them. Late night meetings, secret lunches, trips out of town that I thought were just business. The signs were all there, and I missed them. My hands shake as I hold the phone, scrolling through message after message, each one like a punch to the gut. I want to confront Rachel immediately, but I need to think. I need a plan. I can't just walk into this without knowing exactly what's going on. I need to know how deep this goes. I decide to follow Rachel the next day. I pretend everything is normal, kissing her goodbye in the morning as she leaves for work. Then I get into my car and tail her, keeping a safe distance. My heart races with each turn she makes, the tension building as I try to stay out of sight. She heads straight to David's office, just as I suspected. But instead of going inside, she parks down the street and waits. My pulse quickens as I watch her sit there, glancing at her phone every few minutes. It feels like an eternity before David finally shows up, getting out of his car and walking over to Rachel's. She steps out and they embrace, her arms wrapping around his neck as she pulls him in for a kiss. My vision blurs with anger. I want to jump out of the car, confront them both right here, right now, but I know that's not the smart move. I need to stay calm, collect evidence, and make sure they can't wriggle out of this. I take out my phone and start recording, capturing every second of their interaction. As they drive off together, I follow them to a hotel just outside of town. I watch them check in, laughing and touching as if they have no care in the world. My stomach churns, but I keep recording, forcing myself to stay focused. When they disappear inside, I park and wait. The minutes crawl by, each one feeling like an hour. Finally, they emerge, disheveled but smiling, completely oblivious to the fact that their entire affair has just been caught on camera. I wait until they've left before driving home, my mind racing with what to do next. I don't get the chance to act. The very next morning, I'm at work when the police arrive. They walk straight to my office, their faces serious, and ask me to come with them. I'm in shock, trying to figure out what this could possibly be about. My heart sinks as they lead me out in handcuffs, the entire office watching in stunned silence. They take me to the station, where I'm questioned about a massive embezzlement scheme at my firm. I'm dumbfounded, completely blindsided by the accusations. They show me evidence. Emails, bank transfers, all traced back to me. I've never seen any of it before, but the evidence is damning. It's clear someone has gone to great lengths to set me up. As I sit there stunned and reeling, it hits me. Rachel and David. This is their doing. They've not only betrayed me, but they've framed me to take the fall for something I had nothing to do with. I feel like I'm drowning, the walls closing in as I realize the enormity of what's happening. My career, my reputation, my freedom, all of it is at stake, and I'm powerless to stop it. I'm held overnight, unable to think of anything but the betrayal. My mind keeps going back to Rachel's smile, her touch, the way she made me feel loved and secure, even as she was planning to destroy me. The anger surges again, mixing with the helplessness and fear, until all I can think about is how I'm going to make them pay. The next morning, I'm brought before a judge who denies me bail, citing the severity of the charges. I'm escorted back to my cell, my world collapsing around me. But as I sit there in the cold, dark room, something inside me hardens. I'm not going to let them get away with this. I start planning. I think about every conversation, every piece of evidence I've seen, and I start to piece together what must have happened. Rachel and David must have been planning this for months, maybe even longer. And Victor, Rachel's brother, he must be involved too. He's always been protective of Rachel, always had a hand in her life. It makes sense that he would be a part of this. I realize that I'm facing more than just an affair. This is a full-blown conspiracy, and they've done everything they can to ensure I'm the one who takes the fall. But they've underestimated me. They think I'm just going to roll over and accept it. They don't know what I'm capable of when I'm pushed to the edge. As I sit there waiting for the trial that will determine the rest of my life, I make a vow. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to expose Rachel, David, Victor, everyone who had a hand in this. And when I'm done, they'll wish they had never crossed me. The more I think about it, the clearer it becomes. This isn't just about clearing my name. It's about revenge. They've taken everything from me, and now it's my turn to take everything from them. I'm going to destroy them, just like they tried to destroy me. And I won't stop until they're all brought to justice. I'm out on bail, but the reality of my situation hits me every morning. My life is crumbling, and it feels like I'm the only one who cares. My lawyer's doing what he can, but it's clear that the evidence against me is overwhelming. I didn't commit the crime, but someone has gone to great lengths to make it look like I did. The more I think about it, the more I realize it's Rachel and David. They've set me up, and they're going to get away with it unless I do something. I need to clear my name, but I can't just sit back and let the legal system work its course. I need to take matters into my own hands. I start by going through everything I can find on Rachel and David. I hack into Rachel's email, her social media accounts, anything that might give me a clue about what they're planning. It's risky, but I'm desperate. I don't find much at first, just the usual office emails and personal messages. But then I stumble upon a series of encrypted emails between Rachel and David. It takes me hours to decrypt them, but when I finally do, I'm horrified. They've been planning this for months. They've been siphoning money out of my firm, transferring it to offshore accounts in my name. And they're not alone. Victor, Rachel's brother, is in on it too. He's been using his connections to cover their tracks and ensure that I take the fall. My blood boils as I read through the emails, each one more damning than the last. They've been laughing at me, mocking me behind my back, while they destroy my life. I'm shaking with rage by the time I finish reading, but I know I need to stay calm. I need to think clearly if I'm going to bring them down. I start by tracking David. I follow him from his office to his home, watching his every move. I take pictures, document everything, hoping to find something I can use against him. But he's careful, almost paranoid. He never stays in one place too long, never makes a move without checking his surroundings. It's like he knows someone is watching him. I can't get close to him, so I turn my attention to Victor. He's easier to track. He's cocky, always has been. He thinks he's untouchable because of his connections. But I know better. I start digging into his past, looking for anything I can use to blackmail him. It doesn't take long to find what I'm looking for. Victor has a history of shady business deals, some of which are borderline illegal. I gather all the information I can and prepare to confront him. But before I can, things take a turn for the worse. Rachel starts spreading rumors about me, telling our friends and family that I'm losing my mind, that I've become obsessed with conspiracy theories. She paints me as a paranoid lunatic, and people believe her. They start avoiding me, cutting me out of their lives. Even my parents, who have always been my rock, start to doubt me. The isolation is crushing, but I refuse to give up. One night I can't take it anymore. I confront Rachel. I wait for her to come home, and when she walks through the door, I'm there, waiting in the dark. "Rachel," I say, my voice cold and steady, "we need to talk." She freezes, her hand hovering over the light switch. "Mike, what are you doing?" "I know what you're up to," I say, stepping closer. "I know about you and David. I know about the money, and I know Victor is helping you." Her eyes widen, but she quickly recovers, forcing a laugh. "Mike, you're being ridiculous. You need help." "I've seen the emails, Rachel. Don't lie to me." She goes pale, but she doesn't back down. You've been spying on me? Hacking into my accounts? You're sick, Mike. You need to see someone. I grab her arm, pulling her close. I'm not the one who's sick, Rachel. You are. You've destroyed everything. But it's not over yet. I'm going to make you pay for what you've done. She yanks her arm away, glaring at me. You don't know what you're talking about. You're going to ruin your life, Mike. Just let it go. But I can't let it go. I've come too far. I leave her there, storming out of the house. I need to clear my head, figure out my next move. As I drive through the dark streets, my mind races. I think about everything Rachel has done, everything she's taken from me. The memories of our life together flash through my mind. Our wedding day, the honeymoon, the nights we spent tangled in each other's arms. It's all a lie, a cruel joke. The thought makes me sick. I stop the car, my hands gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turn white. I feel like I'm going to explode. I slam my fist against the dashboard, the pain grounding me. I need to focus. I need to stay in control. I start thinking about how I can turn this around. I have the emails, but they're not enough. I need more evidence, something concrete that will prove my innocence and expose Rachel, David, and Victor for who they really are. The next day, I start putting my plan into action. I reach out to old contacts, people I trust who might be able to help me. I dig deeper into Rachel's past, looking for anything I missed. I follow David more closely, taking bigger risks. But no matter what I do, I keep hitting dead ends. They've covered their tracks too well. Then out of nowhere, I get a call. It's from a private investigator I hired years ago to look into a land deal that went sour. I'd forgotten all about him, but he hasn't forgotten about me. Mike, he says, his voice gruff, I've got something you might be interested in. What is it? I ask, my heart pounding. Your wife, he says. She's been meeting with a lawyer, someone who specializes in high-stakes divorces. I followed her, got some pictures, thought you might want to see them. My blood runs cold. Rachel is planning to divorce me, to take everything and leave me with nothing. The rage that's been simmering inside me boils over. I thank the investigator and hang up, my mind racing. I need to move fast. If Rachel is planning to divorce me, she's going to do it soon, probably as soon as she thinks she's secured all the money. I decide to confront David. I need to look him in the eye, see the man who's been screwing my wife and plotting my downfall. I wait outside his office, watching as he comes and goes. When he finally leaves for the day, I follow him, tailing him to a bar on the other side of town. I wait until he's settled at the bar, then I walk in, my heart pounding. I take a seat next to him, my hands shaking as I order a drink. David doesn't recognize me at first, but when he does, his eyes widen in surprise. Mike? What the hell are you doing here? I stare at him, trying to keep my voice steady. We need to talk. He laughs, a nervous edge to his voice. About what? About Rachel, and about how you're trying to ruin my life. His smile falters, but he quickly recovers, shaking his head. I don't know what you're talking about, Mike. You've got the wrong idea. I lean in closer, lowering my voice. Cut the bullshit, David. I know everything. The affair, the money, the setup. I know you're behind it. David's face hardens, and for a moment, I think he's going to deny it again. But then he leans back, taking a sip of his drink. So what if I am, he says, his voice cold. What are you going to do about it? I want to punch him, to wipe that smug look off his face, but I force myself to stay calm. I need to be smart about this. I've got evidence, I say, lying through my teeth. Emails, recordings, everything I need to bring you down. David's eyes narrow, and I can see the doubt flicker across his face. You're bluffing, he says, but there's a hint of uncertainty in his voice. Try me, I say, staring him down. You think you're untouchable, but you're not. I'm going to take you down, David. You, Rachel, Victor, all of you. And when I'm done, you'll wish you'd never crossed me. For a moment, we just sit there, staring each other down. Then David stands up, tossing a few bills on the bar. You're making a mistake, Mike, he says, his voice low and threatening. You don't know who you're messing with. I watch him leave, my heart pounding. I've rattled him, but I know it's not over. I've pushed him, and now he's going to push back. Sure enough, the next day I get a call from Victor. He's furious, demanding to know what I think I'm doing, threatening me if I don't back off. But I'm done being scared of him. I tell him I know about the setup, about his involvement, and that I'm going to expose him. He tries to laugh it off, but I can hear the panic in his voice. He knows I'm serious. That night I can't sleep. I'm on edge waiting for something to happen, and then it does. I'm driving home from the store when I notice a car following me. My heart starts to race and I take a few turns, trying to shake them. But they keep up, staying just far enough behind to make it clear they're tailing me. I start to panic, my mind racing with possibilities. Is it David? Victor? Someone they've hired to take me out? I don't know, and the not knowing is worse than anything else. I push the accelerator, speeding through the dark streets, trying to lose them, but they keep up, their headlights glaring in my rearview mirror. I'm almost home when they make their move. The car speeds up, ramming into the back of my car, sending me skidding across the road. I fight to control the wheel, but it's no use. The car slams into a tree, the impact jolting through me like a lightning bolt. My head slams against the steering wheel, pain exploding in my skull. For a moment, everything is black. I can't see, can't think. But then I hear the sound of the car door opening, footsteps approaching. Panic surges through me, and I fumble with the seatbelt, trying to get out. But it's too late. The door is yanked open, and I'm pulled out, thrown to the ground. I look up, my vision swimming, and see a figure standing over me. It's too dark to see their face, but I know who it is. Victor. He leans down, his face inches from mine, his breath hot against my skin. "You should have stayed down, Mike," he says, his voice cold and deadly. "Now you're going to wish you had." Before I can react, he slams something hard against my head, and everything goes black. When I come to, I'm lying on the cold ground, my head pounding, my body aching. The car is gone, and so is Victor. I struggle to my feet, my vision blurry, my legs unsteady. I don't know how long I've been out, but it feels like hours. I stumble down the road trying to make it home, my mind reeling from what just happened. I finally make it home, collapsing on the couch, my body shaking. I've been warned. They're not playing games anymore. They're going to kill me if I don't back off, but I can't back off, not now. They've taken everything from me, and I'm not going to let them get away with it. I'm going to fight back with everything I've got, and I'm going to win, no matter what it takes. Victor's attack is a wake-up call. He's shown his hand, and now I know just how far they're willing to go. They want me out of the picture, but they underestimated me. I'm not backing down. I'm going on the offensive. The first step is to expose David. He's the weak link, the one who's most vulnerable to public scrutiny. I've been collecting evidence for weeks. Emails, financial records, photos. I've got enough to bury him. But instead of going to the police, I decide to take a different route. I leak the information to the press. It's a calculated move, designed to cause maximum damage. I make the call to a journalist I know, someone who owes me a favor. "I've got a story for you," I say, keeping my voice steady. "It's big. Corporate fraud, money laundering, the works, and I've got the evidence to back it up." There's a pause on the other end of the line. "Who's involved?" "David Sinclair," I say, naming Rachel's boss, CEO of Sinclair Enterprises. "Holy shit," the journalist breathes. "You're sure about this?" "Dead sure. I'll send you everything. Just make sure it goes public fast." We agree on the terms, and I send over the files. It doesn't take long for the story to break. By the next morning, it's all over the news. David's face is plastered on every channel, his crimes laid bare for the world to see. The scandal rocks his company, sending stocks plummeting and triggering investigations. He's finished, but I'm not done yet. With David under fire, I turn my attention to Victor. He's been the puppet master, pulling the strings behind the scenes. But I've got dirt on him too, his shady business deals, his connections to organized crime. I dig deeper, gathering enough to blackmail him. This time, I make sure there's no way he can wriggle out of it. I wait for the right moment, then confront him. We meet in a parking garage, the kind of place where deals are made in the shadows. He's tense, his usual swagger replaced by a flicker of fear. I hold all the cards now and he knows it. Victor, I say, keeping my voice calm, we need to talk. He glares at me, but I can see the sweat on his brow. You're making a big mistake, Mike. You don't know who you're dealing with. Oh, I know exactly who I'm dealing with, I say, stepping closer. And I've got enough to bring you down. So here's how this is going to go. You're going to confess everything. The affair, the embezzlement, your role in setting me up, all of it. He laughs, a bitter, hollow sound. You think you can blackmail me? No, I say, leaning in. I know I can. Because if you don't, I'll make sure every dirty secret you've ever tried to hide comes out. And trust me, Victor, you won't survive it. He hesitates, and for a moment, I think he might fight back. But then he crumbles. He's always been a bully, strong when he's in control, but weak when the tables are turned. I press him harder, and he finally agrees. He'll confess, and in return, I'll keep his other secrets buried. It's a deal with the devil, but it's the only way to get what I need. With Victor's confession secured, I turn to the last piece of the puzzle, Rachel. I've been waiting for this moment, preparing myself for the final confrontation. It's going to be brutal, but it has to be done. I find her at home, sitting in the living room with a glass of wine. She's been drinking more lately, probably to numb the guilt. Or maybe she's just celebrating her victory, thinking she's won, but she hasn't, not yet. Rachel, I say as I enter the room. She looks up, her eyes narrowing. What do you want, Mike? We need to talk, I say, my voice cold. She sighs, setting down her glass. I'm tired of talking. This is over, Mike. Just accept it. No, I say, stepping closer. It's not over, not by a long shot. I know everything, Rachel. The affair, the setup, the plan to destroy me. And I'm done playing nice. Her expression flickers, a hint of fear creeping into her eyes. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me, I snap, my anger finally boiling over. I've seen the emails, Rachel. I know what you and David did. And I know Victor was involved too. It's all coming out. She goes pale, the blood draining from her face. You're bluffing. Try me, I say, my voice deadly calm. Victor's already confessed. David's finished. And you're going down with them unless you come clean. She stands up, her body tense. You're crazy. You've always been paranoid, Mike. That's why this marriage fell apart. No, I say, shaking my head. This marriage fell apart because you betrayed me. You lied, you cheated, and then you tried to ruin my life. But it's over now. I'm taking everything back. For a moment, we just stand there, staring each other down. The air is thick with tension, the silence stretching out until it feels like it's going to snap. Then suddenly, Rachel moves. She steps closer, her eyes locked on mine, and I can see the desperation in her gaze. Mike, she says, her voice softening, we don't have to do this. We can fix this. I still love you. I laugh, a harsh, bitter sound. Love? Is that what you call this? She reaches out, touching my arm. Her fingers are warm, familiar, and for a brief second I feel the old pull, the remnants of what we once had. But then I remember everything she's done, and the feeling turns to ash. You're lying, I say, pulling away from her. You've been lying for months, maybe even years. I'm not falling for it again. Her face crumples, and for a moment, I think she might actually cry. But then she straightens, her expression hardening. You're right, she says, her voice cold. I never loved you. You were just a convenience, something to pass the time. And now you're nothing. The words hit me like a slap, but I don't flinch. I won't give her the satisfaction of seeing me hurt. You're going to pay for this, Rachel, I say, my voice low and steady. You and everyone who helped you. I've already set things in motion. There's no stopping it now. Her eyes widen, and I can see the fear creeping back in. What did you do? I made sure the truth comes out, I say. All of it. The affair, the money, the setup. You're done, Rachel. She shakes her head, stepping back. No, you can't do this. You'll destroy everything. That's the point, I say, watching her panic. You destroyed my life, so now I'm destroying yours. It's only fair. She stumbles back, collapsing into the chair behind her. For a moment, she just sits there, staring at me in disbelief. Then she starts to cry, the tears streaming down her face as she realizes it's over. But I don't feel sorry for her. Not anymore. I've shed enough tears for this woman, wasted enough time trying to fix something that was broken beyond repair. Now it's time to move on, to finish what I started. I leave her there, walking out of the house without looking back. There's nothing left for me here, nothing worth saving. I've won, but the victory is hollow. I feel nothing but a cold, empty satisfaction as I drive away, leaving my old life behind. But the satisfaction is short-lived. The next day I receive a message, a simple text with no name attached. It reads, "You've won this round, but it's not over. There are things you don't know." The words send a chill down my spine. Who sent this? David? Victor? Or someone else entirely? I don't know, but the message is clear. I'm still in danger. The game isn't over. I try to brush it off, but the unease lingers. I've come too far to back down now, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm missing something, that there's another player in this game, someone who's been pulling the strings from the shadows. I go over everything again, trying to piece together the puzzle, but nothing adds up. Victor's confession should have been the end of it. David's downfall should have sealed the deal. But this message, this warning, suggests there's more at play. Something deeper, something I haven't seen. The thought gnaws at me, keeping me up at night. I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But days pass, and nothing happens. The investigations continue, and the walls close in on Rachel and David. The press is relentless, and their lives are falling apart. Victor disappears, probably running from the law, or worse. But I can't shake the feeling that it's all too easy, that the real threat is still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike. Then one night, the phone rings. It's late, and I'm half asleep, but I pick up. On the other end, there's silence, just the faint sound of breathing, slow and steady. I feel a chill run down my spine. "Who is this?" I demand, but there's no answer. Just the breathing, growing heavier, more deliberate. My heart races, but I refuse to hang up, forcing myself to listen, to wait for the person on the other end to speak. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, a voice whispers, "You shouldn't have won, Mike." This isn't over. The line goes dead before I can respond, and I'm left standing there, the phone still pressed to my ear, my heart pounding in my chest. I know now that the game is far from over, and whatever comes next, it's going to be worse than anything I've faced so far. I try to prepare myself, to anticipate the next move, but I feel like I'm in the dark, grasping at shadows. The tension gnaws at me, a constant pressure that I can't shake. And through it all, I keep thinking back to that message, that voice on the phone. The game isn't over, but who is still playing? The days blur together as I wait for the next strike. I barely sleep, barely eat. My mind is racing, but I can't think straight. I feel like I'm being watched, every shadow, every noise making me jump. I'm losing it, and I know it, but I can't stop. I can't let my guard down, not now. Not when I'm so close to the end. Then just when I think I can't take it anymore, I get the call I've been waiting for. The police have arrested Rachel and David. The evidence is overwhelming, and they're both facing serious prison time. It should be a victory, the end of this nightmare. But I can't shake the feeling that it's not over, that the real threat is still out there, waiting for the right moment to strike. And then, it happens. The trial date is set, and the media frenzy begins. Rachel and David's faces are plastered all over the news, their crimes laid bare for the world to see. It should be satisfying, seeing them finally get what they deserve. But all I feel is dread. Something's coming, and I know it's going to be bad. I try to stay focused, to prepare for the trial, but my mind is racing. I can't shake the feeling that I've missed something, that there's a piece of the puzzle I haven't seen. And then, on the eve of the trial, I get another message. This time, it's a video. I open it, my hands shaking, and watch in horror as the screen fills with images of my darkest secrets, things I thought were buried long ago. The video ends with a simple message. This is just the beginning. I'm left staring at the screen, my heart racing, my mind spinning. The game isn't over. Not by a long shot, and this time I'm the one who's been played. I sit in my car outside the courthouse, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turn white. My heart pounds in my chest, every beat a reminder of what's at stake. I've been unraveling this twisted web for weeks, and now, as the trial looms, I'm closer than ever to exposing the truth. But the recent threats, those ominous messages, still linger in my mind, making it hard to think straight. Someone else is involved, and I have no idea who it is. I take a deep breath, forcing myself to focus. I have to stay sharp. I can't afford any mistakes. Today is the day everything comes to light. As I walk into the courthouse, the air is thick with tension. Reporters are everywhere, cameras flashing, microphones thrust in my face. I push past them, ignoring their questions, and head straight to the courtroom. Inside, the atmosphere is just as charged. Rachel and David sit at the defense table, their expressions a mix of fear and defiance. I don't see Victor, but I know he's around, lurking in the shadows like the snake he is. I take my seat and my lawyer gives me a reassuring nod, but I can't relax. Not yet. The judge enters and the trial begins. The prosecution lays out the case against Rachel and David. Embezzlement, fraud, conspiracy. It's all there, laid bare for the jury to see. The evidence is overwhelming, and as the prosecution presents it, I can see Rachel squirming in her seat. She knows it's over, but I can't shake the feeling that something is still off. The prosecution is thorough, methodical, but there's something missing, something they're not seeing. And then it hits me. The messages, the threats, they're not from Rachel or David. They're from someone else, someone who's been pulling the strings all along. My mind races as I try to piece it together. Who could it be? Someone inside my firm? A rival? But why go to such lengths to frame me? And why the threats now, when the truth is about to come out? I glance at Rachel, and for a moment, our eyes meet. There's something in her gaze, something I haven't seen before. It's not fear or defiance, it's recognition. She knows who's behind this, and she's scared. My stomach tightens as I realize she's been playing her own game, trying to stay ahead of whoever's really in control. The prosecution wraps up, and it's the defense's turn. David's lawyer stands trying to poke holes in the case, but it's a losing battle. The evidence is too strong. But then, as the lawyer shifts gears, I feel a chill run down my spine. He starts questioning the integrity of the evidence, suggesting that it was planted, manipulated. He doesn't outright accuse me, but he hints at it, painting a picture of a man so desperate to clear his name that he'd fabricate evidence to do it. It's absurd, but I can see the jury's reaction. They're starting to doubt, starting to wonder if I'm really the victim here. I glance at my lawyer, who looks just as stunned as I am. This wasn't part of the plan. The defense is trying to turn the tables, to make me the villain. I can't let this happen. When it's my turn to testify, I stand, my hands shaking. I take a deep breath and try to calm my nerves. This is it. Everything comes down to this moment. As I start to speak, I lay out the facts detailing everything I've uncovered. The affair, the embezzlement, the conspiracy to frame me. I can see the jury listening intently, and for a moment, I think I'm getting through to them. But then, the defense lawyer starts his cross-examination, and the tension in the room skyrockets. He's relentless, throwing question after question at me, trying to trip me up. He brings up the threats, the mysterious messages, suggesting that I'm not as innocent as I claim to be. I fight to stay calm, to answer each question clearly, but the doubt is creeping in. The jury is starting to waver, and I can feel control slipping away. Then out of nowhere, the defense lawyer pulls out a document I've never seen before. It's an email, supposedly from me, detailing a plan to frame Rachel and David. My blood runs cold as he reads it aloud, the words twisting like a knife in my gut. It's a lie, a complete fabrication, but it's damning. The courtroom erupts in whispers, and I can feel the jury's eyes on me, judging, condemning. My lawyer objects, but the damage is done. The seed of doubt has been planted, and it's spreading like wildfire. As I step down from the witness stand, my mind is spinning. How did they get that email? Who's behind this? And why are they doing this to me? The trial continues, but I'm barely paying attention. My thoughts are consumed by the email, by the realization that someone else is pulling the strings, someone who's determined to see me go down for a crime I didn't commit. I glance at Rachel again, and this time I see the fear in her eyes. She knows who it is, but she's too scared to say anything. By the time the trial adjourns for the day, I'm a wreck. I leave the courthouse in a daze, barely aware of the reporters swarming around me. I get in my car and drive, my mind racing, trying to figure out what to do next. I need to find out who's behind this, but I have no idea where to start. As I drive through the city, I replay everything in my mind, trying to make sense of it. And then it hits me. There's one person who's been involved in this from the beginning, someone I never suspected because I trusted him completely. My boss, Greg. It all makes sense now. Greg has access to everything. My accounts, my emails, my life. He's been the one pulling the strings, manipulating everyone, including me. I feel a surge of anger, of betrayal, but also a sick sense of relief. I finally know who's behind this. I turn the car around and head straight to Greg's house. I don't care if it's late. I need answers. When I arrive, I bang on the door until he answers, looking confused and irritated. Mike, what the hell are you doing here? I push past him, storming into his house. I know it was you, Greg. You've been behind this the whole time. He closes the door, his face shifting from confusion to cold. Calculated calm. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't play dumb with me, I snap. The threats, the fake email, this was all you. You framed me and now you're trying to destroy me. He doesn't deny it. Instead, he just smirks, crossing his arms. You've got no proof, Mike. Just wild accusations. You're desperate, and it shows. I feel a flash of panic. He's right. I don't have any proof. But I can't back down now. I step closer, my hands clenched into fists. Why, Greg? Why are you doing this? He sighs, shaking his head like I'm a child who just doesn't understand. Because you were getting too close, Mike. You were starting to see the cracks, starting to ask too many questions. I couldn't have that. I needed a scapegoat, someone to take the fall, and you were perfect. I stare at him, my mind reeling. So you ruined my life for what? Money? Power? He shrugs. It's just business, Mike. You should know that by now. The coldness in his voice sends a chill down my spine. He's been playing me from the start, manipulating me into doing exactly what he wanted. And now he's won. But I'm not giving up that easily. I'll find proof, Greg. I'll expose you for the liar and the criminal you are. He just laughs, a low mocking sound. Good luck with that. But by the time you do, it'll be too late. The jury will have already made up their minds. I feel a surge of desperation. He's right. Time is running out, and I'm running out of options. But I can't let him win. Not after everything I've been through. I leave Greg's house, my mind racing. I need to find something, anything that can tie him to this, but I don't even know where to start. As I drive through the dark streets, I feel the weight of it all pressing down on me. I'm so close to the truth, but it's slipping through my fingers. Then as I'm driving, my phone rings. It's a number I don't recognize, but I answer it anyway, hoping for some kind of breakthrough. Mike, a voice says, low and urgent. I know what Greg's done. I can help you. My heart skips a beat. Who is this? Doesn't matter. Meet me at the old factory on Elm Street in an hour. I'll bring the proof you need. The line goes dead before I can ask any more questions. My mind races. Is this a trap? Another one of Greg's tricks? But what choice do I have? I need that proof, and this might be my only shot. I drive to the factory, my nerves on edge. It's a rundown place, abandoned for years, the perfect spot for something shady. I park and get out, scanning the area. It's dark, quiet, too quiet. I don't see anyone, but I feel like I'm being watched. I step inside, my footsteps echoing in the empty space. Hello? I call out, my voice bouncing off the walls. There's no answer, just silence. I take a few more steps, my heart pounding. Then out of the shadows, someone emerges. It's a woman, tall and slender, her face hidden in the darkness. You came, she says, her voice calm. Who are you? I demand, keeping my distance. She steps closer, and the light catches her face. I recognize her. She's one of Greg's assistants, someone who's always been in the background, never drawing attention to herself. I'm here to help you, she says, holding out a folder. This is everything you need to take Greg down. Emails, financial records, proof that he's been behind this from the start. I take the folder, my hands shaking. I flip through it, my eyes widening as I see the evidence. It's all there, everything I need to expose Greg. Why are you doing this? I ask, looking up at her. She hesitates, then sighs. Greg's a monster, Mike. He's ruined so many lives, and he would have ruined mine too if I didn't do what he said. But I can't live with myself anymore. I had to do the right thing. I nod, my mind racing. This is it, the proof I've been searching for. With this, I can finally clear my name, bring Greg to justice. Thank you, I say, my voice filled with gratitude. She nods, her expression somber. Just be careful, Mike. Greg won't go down without a fight. I watch her leave, my mind spinning with the possibilities. I have what I need, but I know Greg won't let this go easily. He's powerful, connected, and he won't hesitate to destroy anyone who gets in his way. I leave the factory, the folder clutched in my hands. As I drive home, I feel a strange mix of relief and dread. I have the proof, but I know the fight is far from over. Greg is dangerous and he won't stop until he's taken me down. But I'm ready for him. I've come too far to back down now. The trial is just the beginning. With this evidence, I'll expose Greg, clear my name, and finally get the justice I deserve. The next morning, I hand the folder to my lawyer. He looks through it, his eyes widening with each page. This is incredible, Mike. This will turn the case around. I nod, feeling a flicker of hope. We need to move fast. Greg will try to stop us. My lawyer nods, already making plans. I watch him, my mind racing. The final showdown is coming, and I need to be ready. As I leave his office, I feel the weight lifting off my shoulders. I'm not out of the woods yet, but for the first time in weeks, I feel like I have a fighting chance. I'm going to bring Greg down, expose his lies, and finally clear my name. And then, maybe, I can start to rebuild my life. Rachel shows up at my door one morning, 2 weeks after the trial. I'm not surprised. She's out on bail, awaiting her appeal, and I've been expecting this. But that doesn't make it any easier. Seeing her again stirs up a storm of emotions I've been trying to bury. Anger, sorrow, and something else I hate to admit. A flicker of what we once had. She looks different, worn down. Her usual confident posture is gone, replaced by a nervous energy I've never seen in her before. Her eyes are wide, pleading. It's almost enough to make me feel sorry for her. Almost. Mike, she says, her voice trembling. Can we talk? I step aside, letting her in, but I keep my distance. What do you want, Rachel? She hesitates, glancing around my apartment like she's searching for something familiar, something safe. But there's nothing left for her here. Not anymore. I wanted to see you, she says, her voice soft. To talk, to try to explain. There's nothing to explain, I snap, my anger bubbling to the surface. You betrayed me, Rachel. You lied to me, cheated on me, and then tried to destroy me. What more is there to say? She flinches, tears welling up in her eyes. I know I hurt you, Mike. I know I ruined everything. But I wasn't thinking straight. I was scared, desperate. David, he convinced me we had no other choice. I laugh bitterly. So this is all David's fault, is it? You were just an innocent bystander? No, she says, shaking her head. I'm not saying that. I know I'm to blame. But I never wanted things to go this far. I never wanted to hurt you like this. Then why did you? I ask, my voice rising. Why did you do it, Rachel? Why didn't you just leave me if you were so unhappy? She looks down at her hands, twisting them together nervously. Because, because I was afraid of losing everything. David promised me we could have it all, the money, the power, the freedom, and I believed him. I was stupid and greedy, and I didn't see what I was throwing away. The words hang in the air between us, heavy with regret. I want to believe her, want to think that there's some part of the woman I loved still left in her. But the wounds are too deep, the betrayal too raw. I don't know if I can ever forgive you, Rachel, I say, my voice hardening. You destroyed my life. You made me question everything I thought was real. How am I supposed to move on from that? She steps closer, reaching out to touch my arm, but I pull away. Her touch still sends a shiver through me, but it's different now. Tainted. Please, Mike, she whispers, her voice cracking. I know I don't deserve it, but I'm begging you. Give me another chance. Let's start over. We can put this behind us, move somewhere new, away from all this. We can rebuild. For a moment, I almost consider it. The memories of our life together flash through my mind. The good times, the laughter, the passion we once shared. But then I remember the lies, the deceit, and the pain she caused. And I know I can't go back. It's too late for that, Rachel, I say, my voice firm. There's no going back. Not after everything you've done. She breaks down then, collapsing onto the couch, sobbing into her hands. I watch her, feeling a mixture of pity and anger. This is the woman I loved, the woman I thought I would spend the rest of my life with. But she's also the woman who betrayed me in the worst possible way. I'm sorry, Rachel, I say, my voice softening despite myself. But I can't do this anymore. I need to move on. And so do you. She looks up at me, her face streaked with tears, her eyes filled with desperation. What am I supposed to do now, Mike? Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem, I say, turning away. You made your choices, Rachel. Now you have to live with them. I hear her stand up, hear the rustle of her clothes as she straightens herself. I'll go, she says quietly. But please, Mike, if you ever find it in your heart to forgive me, just know that I'll be waiting. She walks to the door, pausing for a moment as if hoping I'll call her back. But I don't. I can't. She leaves without another word, and I'm left standing in the middle of my apartment, feeling more alone than I ever have before. For a long time, I just stand there, staring at the door, trying to process everything. Rachel's gone, and with her, the last remnants of the life I once knew. But I don't feel relief. I don't feel anything. I sit down at my desk, the weight of everything crashing down on me. The trial, the betrayal, the fight to clear my name. It's all taken its toll. I'm exhausted, drained in every possible way. But I can't let it end like this. I can't let Rachel and everything she did define me. I need to find a way to move on, to start over. And maybe, just maybe, writing it all down will help. I pull out a blank notebook, the pages crisp and untouched. I stare at it for a moment, unsure of where to start. But then the words start to flow, pouring out of me like a flood. I write about everything, my love for Rachel, the lies, the betrayal, the fight to clear my name. I don't hold back, laying bare all the pain and anger I've been carrying. As I write, I start to feel a strange sense of release, like I'm finally letting go of everything that's been weighing me down. The words flow faster, the memories pouring out onto the page. I write for hours, losing track of time, until finally I sit back, my hand aching, my mind clearer than it's been in months. The notebook is filled now, the story of my life laid out in black and white. It's raw, painful, but it's mine. And for the first time, I feel like I'm starting to take control of my life again. Over the next few weeks, I turn those notes into a manuscript, shaping my story into something more than just a journal. It becomes a way to make sense of everything that's happened, a way to find closure. I submit the manuscript to a publisher, not really expecting much, but to my surprise, they love it. They want to publish it, to share my story with the world. It's a strange feeling, knowing that my pain is going to be out there for everyone to see, but it also feels right. Like maybe through this, I can finally put the past behind me. The book becomes a bestseller, the story of betrayal and revenge resonating with readers everywhere. I start to get letters, emails, messages from people who have been through similar experiences, thanking me for sharing my story. It's overwhelming but also comforting, knowing that I'm not alone. But as the book's success grows, so does the attention. And one day I get a visit from someone I wasn't expecting. A woman, her face shadowed by a wide-brimmed hat, her voice low and mysterious. "Mr. Sullivan," she says, her voice smooth. "I read your book. It was enlightening." "Thank you," I say, unsure of what to make of her. She steps closer, her eyes piercing into mine. "I think you might be able to help me with something. Something similar to what you went through." I feel a chill run down my spine. "What do you mean?" She smiles, a secretive, knowing smile. "Let's just say I have a situation that could use someone with your experience. Someone who knows what it's like to be betrayed, to have their life turned upside down. I think you could be just the person I need." My mind races, the possibilities swirling. I should say no, I know that. I've finally started to move on, to put the past behind me. But something about her, about the way she looks at me, makes me hesitate. "What kind of situation?" I ask, my curiosity getting the better of me. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a file, thick with papers. She hands it to me, her fingers brushing mine. "Take a look. I think you'll find it interesting." I take the file, feeling the weight of it in my hands. The old me would have walked away, but the new me, the one who's been through hell and come out the other side, knows better. I open the file, my heart pounding, and start to read. As I flip through the pages, I feel the familiar rush of adrenaline, the same feeling I had when I first started digging into Rachel's secrets. It's dangerous, it's risky, but it's also exciting. I look up at the woman, and she's watching me with a knowing smile, like she already knows what I'm going to say. "I'll do it," I say, the word surprising even myself. She nods, satisfied. "Good. I knew I could count on you." She turns to leave, but before she goes, she looks back at me, her eyes gleaming. "This is just the beginning, Mike. Welcome to your new life." As the door closes behind her, I sit back, the file still in my hands. My old life is gone, but maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe this is what I was meant to do all along. It's a new beginning, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm ready for whatever comes next. My book is finally out, and the response is overwhelming. People are reaching out, sharing their own stories of betrayal and loss, thanking me for putting into words what they felt. It's strange to think that my pain has become something others find comfort in, but it's also cathartic. Writing the book helped me process everything, but it's the conversations with readers that are truly helping me heal. Sitting in my apartment, I flip through the pages of the first edition. My name on the cover, a reminder of how far I've come. I've turned my nightmare into something meaningful. But as much as I try to focus on the positive, there's a nagging feeling that I can't shake. I've won, but the scars run deep. Rachel is in prison, and with her appeal denied, I know she'll be there for a long time. Victor and David are both behind bars as well, their lives in ruins. The conspiracy is finally unraveled, and I've cleared my name. But I can't escape the feeling that something is missing, that the darkness that consumed me for so long still lingers. I get up and walk to the window, looking out at the city. It's a new place, a fresh start, but I can't escape the past. The memories, the pain, they're still with me, shadows I can't fully shake. I've changed, become someone harder, more cynical. I know I'll never be the man I was before all this started, But maybe that's a good thing. I'm stronger now, more aware of the darkness people are capable of. I've learned that trust can be shattered in an instant, and that love, no matter how real it feels, can be built on lies. Just as I'm about to close the blinds, my phone buzzes on the table. It's a number I don't recognize, but I answer it anyway. My curiosity piqued. "Mike Sullivan?" a woman's voice says, smooth and confident. "Yes, who's this?" There's a pause, then she continues. "I read your book. It was powerful. I think you might be able to help me with something." I feel a flicker of something I haven't felt in a while. Anticipation, maybe even excitement. "What kind of help are you looking for?" "Let's just say I've been betrayed," she says, her voice calm, but with an edge of vulnerability. "And I need someone who knows what that feels like. Someone who can help me find justice." The words hang in the air, and I feel the familiar pull, the sense that I'm being drawn into something bigger than myself. I should say no. I've done enough, been through enough. But there's a part of me that can't resist the challenge, that needs to keep moving forward, to keep fighting. "Tell me more," I say, leaning against the window, my heart starting to race. She gives me the basics, a marriage shattered by lies, a web of deceit that's left her broken and desperate. It sounds all too familiar, and as she speaks, I can't help but think back to where I was a year ago, to the rage and pain that consumed me. "I'll help you," I say finally, the decision made before I even realize it. "But this won't be easy." "Are you ready for that?" "I am," she says, her voice steady. "I don't have a choice." We agree to meet the next day, and as I hang up, I feel a strange mix of emotions: excitement, fear, and something that feels almost like hope. I know this isn't just about helping her. It's about helping myself, about finding a way to move forward, to keep living in the aftermath of everything that's happened. As I sit back down, I think about the journey I've been on, the man I've become. I've lost a lot, but I've gained something too. A deeper understanding of myself, of the world, of what it means to fight for justice. I realize now that my love for Rachel, while real, was built on illusions. I was blinded by what I wanted to believe, by the life I thought we had. But the truth, painful as it was, set me free. It forced me to confront who I really am, to face the darkness within and around me. I don't know what the future holds, but for the first time in a long time, I'm not afraid of it. I'm ready to face whatever comes next, to take on new challenges, to help others find the justice they deserve. There's a sense of closure now, a feeling that the worst is behind me and that I've emerged from it stronger, more resilient. I close the book, running my fingers over the cover one last time. It's the end of one chapter, but the beginning of another. I'm walking away from my past, from the man I was, and stepping into the unknown. It's terrifying, but also exhilarating. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm truly living. As I stand up, ready to leave the apartment, I take one last look around. The shadows of the past are still there, but they're fading, slowly being replaced by something new, something better. I'm not the man I was, but I'm okay with that. I've learned that life isn't about holding on to what's safe and familiar. It's about facing the darkness, embracing the uncertainty, and finding the strength to keep going no matter what. And so, I step out into the world, ready for whatever comes next. The future is uncertain, but that's okay. I've been through hell and come out the other side. Whatever challenges lie ahead, I know I can face them. I'm not the same man I was, but in many ways, I'm stronger, wiser, and more prepared for whatever life throws my way. The past is behind me, but the lessons I've learned will stay with me forever. And as I walk away, leaving the shadows behind, I can't help but feel a sense of anticipation, a thrill at the thought of what's to come. The story isn't over. Far from it. It's just beginning. And this time, I'm ready for it.